चक्षुर्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितंश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगे राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिय वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम
राम राम हरे हरे।
So welcome back again. So yeah, last time we discussed, we'll take some reflections. So anyone would like to start or share any reflections? Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
I think last time we talked about a majority of our reading was regarding chanting and kind of how the purification process works with chanting. So it's not much of a reflection, more of a connection, because I was recently reading another one of Srila Prabhupada's paperbacks called Chant and Be Happy. So I saw some of the points that we read in the chapter in the same book regarding why it purifies, because it's transcendental vibration and it's not from the material world but the spiritual world, and how the sense of hearing is so much more capable to penetrate all of our conditionings than the others.
Right.
And so I thought that was interesting, and it kind of connected the dots for me over the past week.
Very nice. Thank you for sharing. Yeah, any other reflections?
Hey Krishna, one reflection I had was last week we talked about how Krishna conscious is not just for Indians, it's a universal thing. So that's important because some people might think it's just Hindu, Indians and all that, but it's actually for everyone. And it's not just a religion, but it's meant for everybody and anybody can join and get the mercy.
Yeah, very nice point. Yes. This is not a Hinduism or Christianism or whatever ism. Srila Prabhupada's movement, Lord Chaitanya's movement is for each and everybody in the whole material creation, right? So it's just not for Indians or, particular section of society. It is for everyone. That's a very, very important point, because when we preach, because preaching means attracting other souls back to Krishna, to their original father. So we should always be very, very liberal, very open-minded, and should be avoiding any bias towards any particular sect. Any other points? Very good points. Or maybe we had a wonderful session yesterday with His Holiness Giriraj Swami Maharaj, and many wonderful points were discussed. It was a very long program. So maybe any reflections from that also we can just recall. Like one thing that stuck to my heart was how we should be doing prayerful reading whenever we are doing this ritual reading of any scripture or even this book. This book is nothing less than any scripture, the science of self-realization. Before we start, we should pray to the Guru Parampara and Krishna. And Maharaj was explaining that makes lot of difference in our understanding, because these literature are transcendental. And if the reading is not prayerful, it just becomes like a normal mundane reading. So any other points anyone would like to share from maybe yesterday's class also?
Hare Krishna, this is Tungavidya.
Hare
So
Krishna.
from yesterday's class, when Maharaj was sharing one pastime, like they went out for the book distribution and he left the door temple. He just forgot to lock the temple. So after that, when Maharaj was talking, like we should not take the service from Krishna. We should do the service for the Krishna. Like when he said that Krishna will take care, like he was talking to another devotee, like Krishna will take care. Should Krishna will take care? And then the other devotee was saying, yeah, Krishna will take care, but we should not take the service from Krishna. We should do our job, right? So
Yeah.
that's, yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, Krishna being a devotee, yeah, Krishna will take care, but we should be vigilant enough to do our duty. Just not like that. Okay, Krishna will take care. I'm doing, and Krishna will take care. We should do our part, and rest Krishna will take care. Yeah.
Yep, very good point. Anything else? It was like the whole class was full of nectar yesterday.
Yeah, also Maharaj emphasized how it is important for every one of us to take the shelter of Krishna, how he helps all the time. Sometimes we realize it, sometimes we don't. But once we take the shelter and once we, offer our services, Krishna takes care of us, knowingly or unknowingly, all the time.
Yeah. Couple of more very important things he mentioned during question answer session was, I think one of the kid asked that question, like 12-year, I think Puru from Harrisburg, about initiation, right? So very well Maharaj explained that there is a procedure which has to be followed, as well as there is a connection with the heart. So both are important. We cannot undermine either of those things. So very, very important question and answer that was. Another thing Maharaj said was, of course, as devotees and as the followers of Srila Prabhupada, we are gentlemen and good people. At the same time, just for the sake of fitting in, we should not be compromising our standards and our philosophy. So we should be very careful about when we deal with the outside people. Of course, our behavior should be top class. At the same time, it doesn't mean that we have to compromise any of our philosophy, any of our sadhana. Anything else from yesterday's class or from last Saturday's reading? Prema Manjari Mataji, Hare Krishna. Welcome to the book reading program. Would you like to share anything, Mataji? And maybe we can introduce maybe if you can introduce yourself to all of us. You are on mute. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Welcome to our program.
See, I don't know, I just got this link and I just happened to join yours. I'm Prema Manjari and I'm from Bombay and I'm the secretary of the Journal Leaders from me.
Haribo, Haribo.
I was thinking that Guru Maharaj is coming today.
Oh, okay. No, he will be with us next Sunday again. He was with us. Yes, he was with her. He blessed us yesterday.
Okay, Mike, no problem. I certainly enjoyed listening to the reflections and it still keeps me connected to his instructions and it's nice. I don't know how I joined.
Wonderful.
It's like I woke up
No problem. No problem. Welcome.
I was actually doing my daily worship side by side, so this is
No,
what
please,
yep. Of my God time.
Please give us your association. Thank you so much. Wonderful. Let me spotlight them. We can all take darshan. Okay. Wow. Haribo.
Haribo.
Mataji, what is the name of the vigrah?
No, just Sri Ganesh.
Oh, Jai Ho, Jai Ho. Thank you so much, Mataji, for the darshan.
I'm going on listening while I'm doing my other
Thank you for your association, Mataji. Please stay online. We'll enjoy your association. Okay. Anyone else would like to share any realization from Maharaj's class yesterday? Okay, if not, we can go ahead with our reading session. Let me share the book. So I think last Saturday we left here. Bahunam janmanamante jnanvan mam prapadyante vasudevaha sarvam iti samahatma sudurlabha. After many births and deaths, he who is actually in knowledge surrenders unto me, meaning Krishna, to Krishna, knowing me to be the cause of all causes and all that is. Such a great soul is very rare. So we are very, very fortunate, we are very, very rare that we have got some interest in knowing about Krishna and to associate with Krishna's devotees. After many, Krishna says, after many, many births, Bahunam Janmanam, right? After who knows, millions and billions of births, one surrenders to Krishna and his devotees. So we'll continue. I will read the first paragraph. If one has not yet come to this conclusion of knowledge and simply indulges in dry speculation without Krishna, then his hard speculative labor is something like beating empty husks of grain. The unhulled rice and the empty husks of rice look very much the same. One who knows how to get the grain out of the unhulled rice is wise. But one who beats on the empty husk, thinking to get some result, is simply wasting his labor uselessly. Similarly, if one studies the Vedas without finding the goal of Vedas, Krishna, he simply wastes his valuable time. So Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that from all the Vedas, from all the scriptures, I am to be known, Krishna to be known. But if we find a lot of people, they study Vedas just for the sake of their knowledge and they have no idea about Krishna. So that is like what is the example Prabhupada says? It is like beating the empty husk. They will go nowhere. Okay. So to cultivate knowledge for worshipping Krishna culminates after many, many births and deaths when one actually becomes wise. When one becomes wise in this way, he surrenders to Krishna, recognizing him at last to be the cause of all causes and all that is. That sort of great soul is very rare. So those who have surrendered to Krishna, life and soul are rare. Sudurlabha Mahatmas. They are not ordinary Mahatmas. Haribol. Anyone would like to continue read?
By the grace of Lord Chaitanya, that highest perfectional status of life is being distributed very freely. The effect is also very encouraging. Otherwise, how are boys and girls without any background of Vedic culture quickly occupying the posts of rare Mahatmas simply by vibrating this transcendental sound, Hare Krishna? And simply on the basis of this chanting, the majority of them, those who are very sincere, are steady in devotional service and are not falling down the four principles of material sinful life, namely 1. Meat eating, 2. Illicit sexual connection, 3. Taking of intoxicants, including coffee, tea, and tobacco, and 4. Gambling. And that is the last sutra of the Vedanta Sutra. Example, Anivrita Shabdat, by sound vibration one becomes liberated. One has to learn by the result, Phalena Parichyate. Our students are ordered to act like this, and they are not falling down. That they are remaining on the platform of pure spiritual life without hankering to culture the above principles of avidya, or sense gratification, is the test of their proper understanding of the Vedas. They do not come back to the material platform because they are relishing the nectarian fruit of love of God.
So Prabhupada said the higher taste, right? Once, why he's mentioning about his followers that why they are enjoying this spiritual process so much because they have got the higher taste. So once we get this higher taste, and how do we get this higher taste? In the association of devotees. Okay, we can continue. Please feel free to stop or ask questions in between or any points you would like to make. Let's make it more interactive.
Sarvaphala Tyaga, renunciation of all the fruits of one's work, is explained in the Bhagavad Gita by the Lord himself in the words Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Vraja. Give up everything and simply surrender unto me, Krishna. The Hare Krishna Maha Mantra means, O Supreme Energy of Krishna and O Lord Krishna, please engage me in your eternal service. So we have given up everything and are simply engaged in the service of the Lord. What Krishna orders us to do is our only engagement. We have given up all resultant actions of karma, jnana, and yoga, and that is the stage of pure devotional service. Bhaktir Uttama, yours sincerely, A.C. Bhakti Ranta Swami.
So that is the reply Srila Prabhupada gave to the professor. And what was going on? They are exchanging the letters. So Prem Manjari Mataji, we are reading this, The Science of Self-Realization, Srila Prabhupada's book. And so on Saturdays, we do this group study and try to understand some philosophy of Krishna consciousness. In addition to that, we also meet on Fridays and we discuss, we have different speakers, Maharaj, and also we discuss Bhagavad Gita. So in this section, what was going on? Anybody remember? The exchange of letters between the professor and Srila Prabhupada. And the professor, that Western professor, is very knowledgeable in Vedas, in Vedic literature. He has read, but his understanding is still not very, very clear. So Srila Prabhupada is making that understanding clear by these exchanges of letters. So let's see after this letter what happens. Oh, we see another letter from the professor. Anyone would like to read this letter?
It's written on February 25th, 1970. Swami A.C. Bhaktivedanta, founder, Acharya, International Society of Krishna Consciousness. Dear Swamiji, thank you very much for your very interesting letter of February 15th, 1970, which with enclosure. I'm afraid that whenever you quote a passage purporting to show that only the chanting of the name Krishna is required, I can quote another one which requires something else, adding Yadi sloko pi paramatma ayam api shloka
Shlokaha paramam
shloka
pranamam bhavitum arhati.
parati. If mere verses are authorities, this verse also ought to be regarded as authoritative. And there may be no end to this in the foreseeable future. As Patanjali also says, Mahan hi sabdasya
Prayog
prayog
Vishaya.
vishaya. For vast is the domain for the use of words. Yours very sincerely, Jeff Stahl.
So, yeah, he's still kind of arguing or trying to understand that how come only the chanting of the name of Krishna can deliver, because he's not able to understand that conclusion from whatever he has understood from the Vedas, from his reading. So he's asking good questions. So let's see what Srila Prabhupada will reply again. Let's see who else is there on the call. We can ask them to read. I see Darsh. Probably Anita Mataji is there.
Dear
Darsh,
Dr. Stahl, I beg you to thank you very much for your kind letter dated February 25th, 1970. I am sorry that I could not reply to your letter earlier because I was a little busy in the matter of purchasing a new church estate at the above address. We have secured a very nice place for a separate temple, lecture room, my quarters, and the devotees' residential quarters, all together in a nice place with all modern amenities. I beg to request you to visit this place at your convenience, and if you kindly let me know a day before, my students will be very glad to receive you properly. Regarding our correspondence, actually this quotation and counter quotation can't solve the problem. In a court, both the learned lawyers quote from law books, but that is not the solution to this case. The determination of the case is a judgment of the presiding judge, so argument can't bring us to a conclusion.
Thank you, Govind. Darsh or Anita Mataji, would you like to read? Okay, Madhu Mataji, would you like to read?
The scriptural quotations are sometimes contradictory, and every philosopher has a different opinion. Because without putting forward a different thesis, no one can become a famous philosopher. It is therefore difficult to arrive at the right conclusion. The conclusion is, as above mentioned, to accept the judgment of authority. We follow the authority of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is non-different from Krishna, and his version, according to the Vedic scripture, is that in this age, this chanting is the only solution for all problems of life, and that is actually being shown by practical experience. Recently, there was a big procession of our students in Berkeley on the Advent Day of Lord Chaitanya, and the public has remarked as follows: "This crowd of men is not like others, who assemble to break windows and create havoc." This is also confirmed by the police in the following words: "Members of the Krishna consciousness movement cooperated fully with the police and their efforts to maintain peaceful order throughout the parade were so successful that only minimal police involvement was required. Similarly, in Detroit, there was a big peace march, and our men were appreciated as angels in the crowd. So, this Krishna conscious movement is actually needed at the present moment as a panacea for all kinds of problems in human society. Other quotations will not act very appreciably at this time. In a drugstore, there may be many medicines, and all may be genuine. But what is required is that an experienced physician prescribe medicine for a particular patient. We cannot say in this case, this is also a medicine and this is also medicine. No, the medicine which is effective for a particular person is the medicine for him. Phalena parichayate. Yours very sincerely, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada.
Wonderful point here. One is like, let me highlight it. The conclusion is should always be accepted from authority, right? So who is our authority? Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he has given us chanting as the only solution for all the problems of life. Sankirtan, chanting the names of Lord Krishna. Another beautiful example Srila Prabhupada gave of a drugstore where, so in Vedas or Vedic scriptures, we can find thousands and thousands of things. But what is needed in a particular day for a particular patient, only an expert or an experienced doctor will know, right? So we have to, although there might be thousands of medicines in the drugstore, but a physician will ask the pharmacist to give only particular medicine based on the disease and the patient. He will study whether there are any allergies, what if that patient has any other problems, any specific problems, right? We all know that. So very, very nice example. So we should always follow the authority. Okay, anyone would like to read the next section? I hope everybody is still awake.
In the court of final note by Srila Prabhupada. In the court of the justice, two lawyers put forward their respective relevant argument taken from the authorized law book to decide a point, but it is set up to the judge to decide the case in favor of one of the litigant. When the opposing lawyer put forward their arguments, both of them are legal and bona fide, but the judgment is given as to which argument is applicable to the particular case. Lord Chaitanya gives his judgment on the authority of the Shastras that the chanting of the holy names of the Lord is the name means to elevate one of the transcendental platform. And actually we can see it is the effective. Each and every one of our students who has seriously taken to this process may be examined individually, and any imperial judge will find it easy to see that they have advanced in their transcendental realization further than any philosopher, religionists, yogis, and karmis, etc.
We have to accept everything favorable to the circumstances. Rejection of other methods in a particular circumstances does not mean that the rejected ones are not bona fide. But for the time being, taking into consideration the age, time, and object, methods are sometimes rejected even though bona fide. We have to test everything by its practical result. By such a test, in this age of constant chanting of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, undoubtedly proves very effective. A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami.
So quickly, we can take a break here, and can we describe? Can someone share the understanding how Srila Prabhupada is presenting this Krishna consciousness? Any reflections? He's trying to say, or he's saying that it is scientific. It's not or emotional or sentimental. That you take up the process like any science project, and then you try it out. And that's why he's bringing up the statement like you can examine any of his followers because they've taken up to the process, their life has transformed. So instead of just doubting the process from outside or criticizing the process, better to accept the process, do some practical steps as mentioned in the process, and then see the result. If the result is not there, then you don't have faith in that process. So the point is that Srila Prabhupada presented this Krishna consciousness as a very scientific movement, and spirituality is nothing but science that nobody has presented so far. And that's why Srila Prabhupada was very successful in spreading this spiritual movement of Krishna consciousness. Because in the Western world, nobody will accept on the face without any evidence and without any logic. So if we hear Srila Prabhupada's morning conversations, and we should listen to those morning conversations, they are available online and various formats. Srila Prabhupada used to ask lot of challenging questions because it was very informal gathering. And while walking, his disciples and followers used to ask him one question after another from any field, from any scientific field, you can say, any philosophical question, any scientific question from any field. And Srila Prabhupada used to satisfy them. Wonderful, wonderful morning conversation. We should definitely get inspired to hear them. Any other thoughts? Can we see that how Srila Prabhupada is presenting, it as a very scientific movement?
To add on, he also describes it to like a law case, how two lawyers, it doesn't matter how much they fight, but it all depends on the judge, and like that judge is pretty much Krishna if we think about it, and he or the spiritual master, I guess you could say, because he was associate, but yeah.
Yeah, that is authority. We have to accept the authority whenever there is a doubt. Okay, we can go to the next section. Anyone would like to read?
Yeah, Hare Krishna. Hindu
Hare
culture,
Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Hindu culture or divine culture. Sometimes Indian, both inside and outside of India, think that we are religion, but actually we are not. People should not think that we are religion. No, we are simply preaching how to love God. We are giving a solve all problems of life, and therefore it is being accepted all over the world. There is a misconception that the Krishna consciousness movement represent the, however, Krishna consciousness is in no way a faith or religion that seeks to defeat. Rather, it is essential culture movement for the entire human society and particular Christian faith. This culture movement is specially meant to educate love God. Sometimes Indian, both inside and outside of India, think that we are preaching. Actually, we are not. One will not find the word Hindu in the Bhagavad Gita, Indian as Hindu in the entire Vedic literature. This word has been introduced by the I can't see that word.
Introduced by the Muslims from
okay, I can
provinces.
Muslims,
This word has, yeah, Muslims from provinces next to India.
such as Afghanistan, Balochistan, and Persia. There is a river called Northwestern Province of India. And since the Muslims there would not pronounce, instead called the river Hindu, and the inhabitants of the tract of land they according to the Vedic language. The Europeans are called Malaysians or Javanas, and they give the Muslims India's culture. India's actually culture is described in Bhagavad Gita, where it is stated that a quality of or modes of nature, there are different types of men who are generally order and four spiritual orders. This system of social and spiritual division is dharma.
Yeah, वर्णाश्रम धर्म.
Yeah.
I think आपका स्क्रीन शायद थोड़ा कट हो रहा है, शायद ऐसा लग रहा है.
हाँ जी, मेरे को
हाँ जी, हाँ जी.
पे आ नहीं रहा. The four varnas or social orders are Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vyas, and
Shudra.
Shudra. They can see spiritual orders are Brahmacharya, Grasta, Vaishnava, and Sannyasa. That described in the Vedic scripture known as the Puranas. The goal of the institute educate every man for advancement in knowledge of Krishna or God. That is the
entire Vedic program. So very, very important. The purpose, the idea of this movement is to educate people in how they can love God. We cannot just love God by understanding on our own. We need education. Just like we need any other education, we also need spiritual education. So very important purpose of Krishna consciousness movement is to educate people and train them in loving God. And then that includes a lot of other things. And then just like, especially Prabhupada is talking about the people from the Indian background, like from India, because of so many invasions, they were they were called, people started calling them Hindu, although there is no Hindu word in Hindi dictionary. It was just because the Muslims who invaded, they couldn't pronounce Hindu, they started calling the people living in that land as Hindu. So there is no Hinduism actually. It's all Sanatan Dharma, no Hindu religion. It is supposed to be Sanatan Dharma, Vedic religion. Okay. Next section we can go. When Lord Chaitanya talked with the great devotee Ramananda Rai, the Lord asked him, what is the basic principle of human life? So this is a beautiful conversation that happened between Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his very, very intimate associate Ramanand Rai, who is actually Vishaka Sakhi in the Golok Vrindavan. So in the Gaur Leela, there was a beautiful section that comes in Chaitanya Bhagavat, where Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked questions from Ramanand Rai. He asked, what is the basic principle of human life? Ramanand Rai answered that human civilization begins when one ashram dharma is accepted. So if somebody is not following the one ashram dharma, he is not even a human. He's an animal. Before coming to the standard of one ashram dharma, there is no question of human civilization. Therefore, the Krishna consciousness movement is trying to establish this right system of human civilization, which is known as Krishna consciousness or Daiv Varnashram, divine culture. Because Varnashram system is all lost these days. So through the medium of Krishna consciousness movement, Srila Prabhupada also taught how to re-establish this Varnashram dharma. In India, the Varnashram system has now been taken in a perverted way, and thus a man born in the family of Brahmana, the highest social order, claims that he should be accepted as Brahman. But this claim is not accepted by the Shastra. One's forefather may have been a Brahman according to the Gotra or the family hereditary order, but real Varnashram Dharma is based on the factual quality one has attained, regardless of birth or heredity. Very important point that we have discussed many times, that Varnashram system was not based on heredity or birth. It was based upon the quality of the person and his uh, karma. Therefore, we are not preaching the present day system of the Hindus, especially those who are under the influence of Shankaracharya. For Shankaracharya taught that the absolute truth is impersonal, and thus he indirectly denied the existence of God. Shankaracharya's mission was special. He appeared in order to re-establish the Vedic influence after the influence of Buddhism. Because Buddhism was patronized by Emperor Ashoka, 2600 years ago, the Buddhist religion practically pervaded all of India. According to the Vedic literature, Buddha was incarnation of Krishna, who had a special power and who appeared for a special purpose. His system of thought or faith was accepted widely, but Buddha rejected the authority of Vedas. While Buddhism was spreading, the Vedic culture was stopped both in India and in other places. Therefore, since Shankaracharya's only aim was to drive away Buddha's system of philosophy, he introduced a system called Mayavad. Strictly speaking, Mayavad philosophy is atheism, for it is a process in which one imagines that there is God. This Mayavad system of philosophy has been existing since time immemorial. The present Indian system of religion or culture is based on the Mayavad philosophy of Shankaracharya, which is a compromise with Buddhist philosophy. According to Mayavad philosophy, there actually is no God, or if God exists, he is impersonal and all pervading and can therefore be imagined in any form. This conclusion is not in accord with the Vedic literature. That literature names many demigods who are worshipped for different purposes. But in every case, the Supreme Lord, the personality of Godhead, Vishnu, is accepted as the supreme controller. This is the real Vedic culture. The Supreme Lord is Lord Vishnu. That is the real Vedic culture. Okay, anyone else would like to read the next section? Maybe who has not read yet?
Haribol Prabhu, may I please read? This is Manasvi.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Sure,
Krishna.
please go ahead.
Thank you. Okay. The philosophy of Krishna consciousness does not deny the existence of God and the, hold on, sorry. Can you scroll it down a tad bit? The window is actually getting cut off. Like, scroll it up. Yeah, thank you. Okay, so the philosophy of Krishna consciousness does not deny the existence of God and the demigods, but Mayavad philosophy denies both. It maintains that neither the demigods nor God exist. For the Mayavadis, ultimately all is zero. They say that one may imagine any authority, whether Vishnu, Durga, Lord Shiva, or the sun god, because these are the demigods generally worshipped in society. But the Mayavad philosophy does not in fact accept the existence of any of them. The Mayavadis say that because one cannot concentrate one's mind on the impersonal Brahman, one may imagine any of these forms. This is a new system called Panchopasana. It was introduced by Shankaracharya, but the Bhagavad Gita does not teach any such doctrines, and therefore they are not authoritative. The Bhagavad Gita accepts the existence of the demigods. The demigods are described in the Vedas, and one cannot deny their existence, but they are not to be understood or worshipped according to the way of Shankaracharya. The worship of demigods is rejected in the Bhagavad Gita. The Gita 7.20 clearly states, Kamestaster Shrita Jnana Prapadyantenya Devatah Tam Niyamam Ashthaya Prakritya Nitya Svaya. Those whose minds are distorted by material desires surrender unto demigods and follow the particular rules and regulations of worship according to their own natures. Furthermore, in the Bhagavad Gita 2.44, Lord Krishna states, Bhogeshwarya prashaktanam taya prita chetasam vyavyasyatmika buddhihi samadho na vidhiyate. In the minds of those who are too attached to sense enjoyment and material opulence, and who are bewildered by such things, the resolute determination for devotional service does not take place. Those who are pursuing the various demigods have been described as Shrita Jnana, which means those who have lost their sense. That is also further explained in Bhagavad Gita 7.23. Prabhuji, would you like me to continue, or does somebody want to take over?
Anyone else would like to start? I think Krishna wanted you to read so many verses today.
I don't mind. If somebody wants to take over, that's absolutely fine too.
I think we don't have any volunteers. Please go ahead.
Take it, no problem. Antavat tu phalam tesham tad bhavatya alpa medhasam devan deva yajo yanti mad bhakta yanti mamapi. Men of small intelligence worship the demigods, and their fruits are limited and temporary. Those who worship the demigods go to the planets of the demigods, but my devotees reach my supreme abode. The rewards given by the demigods are temporary, because any material facility must act in connection with the temporary body. Whatever material facilities one gets, whether by modern scientific methods or by deriving benedictions from the demigods, will be finished with the body. But spiritual advancement will never be finished.
Thank you, Manishri. So, lot of points, and anyone has any questions or any reflections that they want to share? Lot of things about Lord Buddha, Sri Shankaracharya. So, any doubts in whatever is being said here, or any points? Because it's very important to when we are studying the Vaishnava philosophy, we have to really understand little bit of history. Why Krishna appeared as Lord Buddha, why he sent Lord Shiva as Shankaracharya, what was the mission, and why, although Lord Buddha was incarnation of Vishnu, Krishna, but he didn't preach Vaishnava philosophy. Any confusion on that? I think we have discussed many times, but we can take some questions. Our kids or youth, you have any questions about these points? Okay, if no, we can go ahead. Who would like to read next section?
People should not think that we are preaching a sectarian religion. No, we are simply preaching how to love God. There are many theories about the existence of God. The atheist, for example, will never believe in God. Atheists like Professor Jacques Monod, who won the Nobel Prize, declare that everything is chance, a theory already put forward long ago by atheist philosophers of India, such as Charvaka. Then other philosophies. Charvaka. Then other philosophies, such as the Karma Mimamsa philosophy, accept that if one goes on doing his work nicely and honestly, automatically the result will come, without need for one to refer to God. For evidence, the proponents of such theories cite the argument that if one is diseased with an infection and takes medicine to counteract it, the disease will be neutralized. But our argument in this connection is that even if one gives a man the best medicine, he still may die. The results are not always predictable. Therefore, there's
There's a higher
there's a higher authority, Deva Nitrena, a supreme director. Otherwise, how is it that the son of a rich and pious man becomes a hippie in the street, or that a man who works very hard and becomes rich is told by his doctor, now you may not eat any food, but only barely water?
Barley.
Okay, next next section.
The Karma Mimamsa theory holds that the world is going on without the supreme direction of God. Such philosophies say that everything takes place because of lust. Kama haitukam. By lust, a man becomes attracted to a woman, and by chance there is sex, and the woman becomes pregnant. There is actually no plan to make the woman pregnant, but by a natural sequence, when a man and a woman unite, a result is produced. The atheistic theory, which is described in the 16th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita as asuric or demoniac, it is that actually everything is going on in this way because of chance and resulting from natural attraction. This demoniac theory supports the idea that if one wants to avoid children, he may use a contraceptive method. Actually, however, there is a great plan for everything, the Vedic plan. The Vedic literature gives directions regarding how men and women should unite, how they should beget children, and what the purpose of sex life is. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita that sex life sanctioned by the Vedic order, or sex life under the direction of the Vedic rules and regulations, is bona fide and is acceptable to him. But chance sex life is not acceptable. If by chance one is sexually attracted and there are children, they are called Varna Shankara, unwanted population. That is the way of the lower animals. It is not acceptable for humans. For humans, there is a plan. We cannot accept the theory that there is no plan for human life, or that everything is born of chance and material necessity.
So whatever we read just now, that is the whole reason Srila Prabhupada wanted to re-establish the one ashram society. And that's why it is very important, because otherwise everything will be unregulated, and whatever cures, whatever degradation in the culture we see is because of all these issues. So that's why Prabhupada was very heavy on establishing the one ashram system, because that system, one ashram system, is introduced by Krishna himself. There is a verse, right, in Bhagavad Gita. Anyone remember that verse? Where Krishna says that one ashram system was introduced by him only. Chaturvarnam, right? I don't remember the whole verse.
Chaturvarnam Maya system.
Yeah. Do you have the whole verse?
Purna karma. Vibhagya. Say that then. Sabsur, say that. Was Chaturvarna.
Do you have the verse number?
I don't have, somewhere in the second chapter.
Okay. Anyway, so yeah, so the point is that Krishna says that he introduced that varnashram system. It's not a man-made system. And so when whatever Krishna does is for a purpose. So, and why varnashram system? Because rules and regulations. As soon as we are accepting the varnashram system, we accept the rules and regulations. Okay, next section. Please feel free to jump in and interact and ask questions, exchange your thoughts. That will be more helpful for everybody.
Shankaracharya's theory that there is no God and that one can go on with his work and imagine God in any form just to keep peace and tranquility in society is also more or less based on this idea of chance and necessity. Our way, however, which is completely different, is based on authority. It is this divine Varnashram Dharma
that Krishna recommends, not the caste system as it is understood today. This modern caste system is now condemned in India also, and it should be condemned, for the classification of different types of men according to birth is not the Vedic or divine caste system. There are many classes of men in society. Some men are engineers, some are medical practitioners, some are chemists, tradesmen, businessmen, and so on. These varieties of classes are not to be determined by birth, however, but by quality. No such thing as the caste by birth system is sanctioned by the Vedic literature, nor do we accept it. We have nothing to do with the caste system, which is also at present being rejected by the public in India. Rather, we give everyone the chance to become Brahmana and thus attain the highest status of life.
Right. So once we are
Because
accepting the instructions of Srila Prabhupada, we all become high class Brahman. Actually, even better than Brahman, Vaishnavas. But we have to work for it. Yeah, please go ahead.
Because at the present moment there is scarcity of Brahmanas, spiritual guides, and Kshatriyas, administrative men, and because the entire world is being ruled by Shudras, or men of manual labor class, there are many discrepancies in society. It is to mitigate all these discrepancies that we have taken to this Krishna consciousness movement. If the Brahmin class is actually re-established, the other orders of social well-being will automatically follow. Just as when the brain is perfectly in order, the other parts of the body, such as the arms, the belly, and the legs, all act very nicely.
So this is the last paragraph now, that the ultimate goal of this movement is to educate people in how to love God. Again, the ultimate goal of this movement of Srila Prabhupada, is to educate people in how to love God. Keywords are ultimate goal is to educate people in what? To love God. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu approves the conclusion that the highest perfection of human life is to learn how to love God. The Krishna consciousness movement has nothing to do with the Hindu religion or any system of religion. Again, it's not a Hindu. That's the mistake most of us who are from so-called Hindu background or from India they make. The Krishna consciousness movement has nothing to do with Hindu religion or any system of religion. No Christian gentleman will be interested in changing his faith from Christian to Hindu. Similarly, no Hindu gentleman of culture will be ready to change to the Christian faith. Such changing is for men who have no particular social status, but everyone will be interested in understanding the philosophy and science of God and taking it seriously. One should clearly understand that the Krishna consciousness movement is not preaching the so-called Hindu religion. Maybe if somebody can make a point of this note, because when we will do the reflection, I expect somebody to bring up this point again. One should clearly understand that the Krishna consciousness movement is not preaching the so-called Hindu religion. They are giving a spiritual culture that can solve all the problems of life, and therefore it is being accepted all over the world. Now, why I'm stressing so much on this point that it is not any particular religion, Krishna consciousness movement is not a particular religion, because most of the times I have personally heard some devotees, they get little distressed and they complain, oh, certain person came to the program or he came to the temple and now they don't want to come. So what is the reason? Because they were expecting, whatever happens in a typical Hindu temple. Just come, just perform arti, just, listen to some katha and go back. But that is not the case here. The purpose of Krishna consciousness movement is to train people, just not for the sweet lectures or some sweet words. Just do some rituals and go back to the same material life. No, the whole purpose of Srila Prabhupada's Krishna consciousness movement is the training, and it's a lifetime training. It's a commitment. It transforms our lives, right? So we don't stop doing whatever we are doing in terms of our occupation, our dharma, whatever jobs, whatever family we have, but we transform our consciousness. Very, very important to understand, because I hear it many times. Oh, that person now doesn't come. The program is not good. That person doesn't go to a temple. So what's going on? We have to understand, because people most of the time they come with some preconceived notions, what they want to have in these programs. They come with a mentality of where whatever they have seen in the families back in India. So that's when they see, oh my God, this is more rigorous. There is more expectations from the person himself. It's not about just taking. When you go to a temple, not about just taking from the temple or from the program. You have to give yourself to the process. Then they get little shock. I hope I made my point clear. Otherwise, we can discuss more. It's 9:18. We can stop reading. We completed this section. So next Saturday we'll start from very, very interesting section, understanding Krishna and Christ. It's going to be a very, very interesting discussion. But coming back, any questions, any points? I mean, it's a beautiful. I'm amazed how what a wonderful points are given in these books. Anything anyone would like to bring up? Any questions? Please feel free.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, so
Hare
one
Krishna.
point that I found interesting was how earlier on when we read like one of the first paragraphs or second, we talked about, it said how the Krishna conscious movement is actually needed right now at this present moment for like solutions to the problems in human society. And I mean, I can't find a better reason than now when we're going through this pandemic. So that I found that very important.
Yeah, very good. We are giving a spiritual culture that can solve all the problems of life, and therefore it is being accepted all over the world. So no matter what is the situation, devotees are always busy, right? They're not wasting their time just watching the television and watching and listening to the same negative news again and again. They have found better things to do in this current situation when they have more time, right? So yeah, very good point. Thank you. Anything else?
Um, in one shloka, it was mentioned that the spiritual credits are never wasted. Like whatever spiritual credit you will gain, that you will start from there in the next birth. So that was the very interesting point. I don't remember the shloka, but yeah, it was meant. The one point came here in that the spiritual credits are never wasted.
Yes.
I don't know.
I mean, we read that verse here today?
Yeah. It was here. I think when Manasvi was reading at that time that came.
Yeah, she read a lot of verses. Bhogeshwarya. Okay. Yes. Here.
Yeah.
Spiritual advancement. So yeah, the worship of demigods. So we do respect all the demigods. Sometimes people complain that ISKCON people, they don't respect demigods. No, that's not the case. Of course, we as ISKCON devotees, Krishna devotees, respect everyone, just not the demigods, each and every living entity. But the idea is, it's a training. We are here getting the education. So we approach Krishna. We understand Krishna directly through the parampara system, who is the highest. And what is being explained in this verse is that men of small intelligence worship the demigod because they want temporary results, temporary fruits. But when it's still again the same example that we have discussed many times. These demigods are who? They are the souls, the living entities who have been empowered by Krishna to perform certain function, right? Many times we have discussed. So when we worship them, they will, if we follow the process of worshiping them, they will give us the boons, whatever they are supposed to. But that will be all material. They cannot give us spiritual liberation. They cannot give us spiritual boon, the ultimate boons. Whatever they will give, it will again going to be temporary. It will diminish. It will get destroyed over the period of time. So when we are approaching the highest, which is the spiritual, and it means we are going to water the root of the tree, that is Krishna, not the leaves and branches. So when we water the root, everything belongs that is connected with the tree, that gets nourished automatically. So we satisfy demigods automatically. So the point is that when we please Krishna, when we satisfy Krishna, we really don't need to ask for anything material. Krishna will satisfy that need automatically, whatever we will need. Yog Shivam Bahamyam. He will take care of everything we need. He will protect, Krishna will protect everything we need, and he will take away whatever we don't need. He is our ultimate well-wisher. And whatever Krishna will give will never be finished, because he will give us devotion, his devotion. Okay, anything else? Very, very nice points here. So one again, to repeat, the foundation is we should chant every day very sincerely the names of Krishna, the Hare Krishna, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. That will automatically bring all the understanding slowly and slowly to us, right? Chanting, that is a very, very important foundation. Actually, I recently heard that when somebody starts chanting, what happens? Whenever we glorify Lord and his names and chant his names, or even if somebody takes a sankalp, takes a vow that, okay, from tomorrow I will chant, or from this Monday I will chant, and he is not even chanting right now, what is the benefit? Two things happen to such a person. So again, the person has not yet started chanting. He has just taken a vow after listening to some sadhu sangha or from some Mahapurush that who has advised him to start taking the names of Lord. Okay, I accept it, and from tomorrow or maybe from next week I will do it. He has just taken a vow. Even for that person, two things happen. Number one, in the Narak Lok, Yamraj calls Chitragupt. Who is Chitragupt? Yamraj's secretary. So whenever a person leaves the body, a soul leaves the body, and if the body is not a devotee body, they to bear the fruits of their, or not the fruit, the results of their sins, that soul has to go to Naraklok, hell. So there, Chitragupt has all the history of all his karmas or sins. So Yamraj asks to, without even checking, to remove all his history, just delete. All his accounting of karma is gone. When the person is still in the Mrityalok, on this planet, and he has just taken a vow to chant from tomorrow, or maybe in some future time. So at that point only, Yamraj has started taking action on his karma, just delete it. So the question of going to hell is out. That soul will never go to hell. And at the same time, what happens in the Brahma Lok, right? What happens in Brahmalok? Brahmaji asks his associates in the Brahmalok that start making garlands, because one soul in the Prithvi Lok has started, or he has taken a vow to take the names of Krishna. So we will just pray and hope that whenever that soul will leave the Mrityu Lok, the earth planet, we hope that he would like to go to Krishna Lok, to Golok, through Brahma Lok. We hope and pray so that we can welcome him with the garlands. So two things start happening right away. Such a glories of these holy names of Krishna. I mean, it's wonderful. So this is about a person who has not even yet started chanting. He has just thought of chanting. So if we all are already, we have crossed that hurdle, because at least some rounds, some names we are chanting on the daily basis. If not, we should at least take a vow, right? So just wanted to share wonderful thing that I just heard from a sadhu. And so please keep chanting enthusiastically every day. This is the foundation of our spiritual life. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So it's 9:28. If no other points, nobody would like to share anything else, we can go to the next part, that is going to be Narasimha prayer. I think I requested Akhilesh. I'm not sure if he's available. Akhilesh Prabhu, you there?
I have to check.
He might. I sent a message a little late, so he might not have seen that. We see Rajesh Agrawal Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Welcome to the program. Would you like to introduce yourself, Rajesh Agrawal Prabhu? Okay, maybe you can mute. Okay. Anyone else like to sing Narasimha prayer today? Manasvi Mataji, yeah, if she can, she won't like to sing.
Prabhuji, I think she's on another call.
No problem, no problem. So, Suvrat or Govind, whoever like to. Or Vishakha, maybe you can sing today.
Yeah, I can sing.
Yeah, please do.
Namaste Narasimhaya.
Namaste
Narasimhaya. Praladadai.
Praladadai.
Hiranyakashipurvakshaha. Shilatankanakalaye. Ito Narsimha Parato Narsimha.
Ito Narasimha
Yato Yato Yamitato Narsimha.
Oh, Yato Yato
Narasimha.
Bahir Narsimha Hirdayir Narsimha.
Ahe Narsimha,
Hridaya Narsimha,
Bahir Narsimha, Hridaye Narsimha.
Bahir Narsimha,
Narsimha,
Hridaya
Narsimha,
Narasimhamadim Sharanam Prapade.
Narasimhamade Sharanam Prabhade.
Narasimhamadim Sharanam Prapade.
Narasimhamade Sharanam Prabhade.
Tavakara Kamalavare Naka Adbhuta Singha Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tanubringa Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare.
Tavagara Kamala Vare
Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tanubringam Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare.
Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare.
Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare.
Jaya Narsimhadev, 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 Jaya Narsimhadev.
Jaya Narsimhadev, Jaya Narsimhadev, Jaya Narsimhadev, Jaya Narsimhadev.
Jaya Prahlad Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Jaya Prahlad Maharaj.
Jaya Prahlad Maharaj, Jaya Prahlad Maharaj, Jaya Prahlad Maharaj, Jaya Prahlad Maharaj.
Jaya Prabhupada,
Jai
Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada.
Jaya Jaya
Jai Ho.
Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev.
Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev.
Nitai Gaura Hari Bo,
Hari Bol,
Hari Bo,
Hari Bol,
Hari Bo, Nitai Gaura Hari Bo.
Nitai Gaura Hari
Hari
Bol, Hari Bol,
Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol.
Nitai Gaur Pramanande.
Hari Bol.
Shri Vigna Vinashaka Nishingadev Bhagavan ki
Jai
jai.
Ho.
Prahlad Maharaj ki jai.
Jai Ho.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai Ho. Thank you. So let's pray for each other, pray for everyone. And I think today was some high school graduation ceremony also. So let's wish all the graduates so that they can take the next step, successfully. So we wish all the graduates today. And there are two programs that I am aware of, nice programs tomorrow. Tomorrow morning, we have prayers by Queen Kunti. It will be in Hindi by Guruma in the morning on the call. I will share the call details. So it will be our time, US Eastern time will be 8:30 a.m. 8:30 a.m. in the morning. There is a series going on. Various devotees are speaking about the prayers in Srimad Bhagavatam. So it's a group of big group of devotees from all around, especially India. So I can share the call details and please join if you're available. And then we have tomorrow evening at 5 p.m. we have program with our GBC and Srila Prabhupada's one of the senior disciple, His Grace Anuttama Das Prabhu at 5 p.m. tomorrow. So I will share the link for that also. Again, it will be on Zoom. And very nice topic, balancing the need of spiritual and secular life. Very interesting topic. So please join both the programs tomorrow. And that's all from me. Anybody has anything? Please speak up. Is the format going on okay with the book reading? I hope it's not boring. Okay.